Believe me, guys, this is the most asked interview question in the world because this not only test if you are still aware of the programming language or not, because for solving this problem we have many ways and there are different variation of this problem. But as we are discussing about the two pointer approach, so we'll try to solve it using two pointer. I mean, you might think that if it is already asked too many times, then why people are still asking? So the reason is the number of ways that you can solve this. For new folks, let me brief you on this. So this is the array and this is the target. You just have to find the index on which if we sum those number, we'll get the target. So you might think this is very simple, right? You can have two for loops. You can start with the beginning and the second one from here, and you can try every combination and you will check the sum, and when you once you get the target, you'll return. So this is what we are going and we'll go and do for the brute force approach. We'll check every combination and try to match it with the target, but in this case the time complexity is big of n, and going forward we try to optimize that. This is the plan. So we are taking same example as mentioned in that Leetcode problem, and let's try to solve it. As we discussed, we can have a for loop which iterate over the array, and we can have another for loop inside that will iterate from the next element to the array, and every time we'll get for one number we can iterate to the others, and we can find the sum going forward, and we try to match it with the target. Once it matches, we'll just return. I mean, this is so simple. And if you didn't able to find any combination, you can just return -1 and that will solve your problem. Now let's run this. So yeah, we are getting what we need. We are getting 1 and 2, which is 2 and 7, and you sum this, it will become 9. Now let's try to optimize this. To optimize this, we can use two pointer, and we are going to use two pointer in this solution. So think of like this. You have to optimize and you have to get rid of this for loop, so you can iterate in a single for loop or while loop, and in the single iteration this for loop should be handled. So what we are doing in this for loop, we are just trying to get another value, making sum of that and check with the target. So can we do it in some other way, like this one? If we take a left pointer and a right pointer, we got the value, right? And for moving those pointers, we should have a condition. So with this problem, you'll get to know that how two pointer work, because that is a pattern and that can be applied to various problems, and that is the key of this solution. So in this example, left is pointing to 2, right is pointing to 15, and we'll get 17, which is greater than target. So the condition is if we got the sum greater than target, we just move the right pointer, and you see why, right? We have to reduce the sum because it is already greater. So to reducing the sum, we have to move our right pointer to the left, so we'll get the less number. And one thing I forgot to mention, that this is a sorted array. You can't do it without the sorted array. I mean, it is given that it is a sorted array. If you try to see, this is already saying sorted in non-descending order. So I was discussing about moving the right pointer. In a similar way, if you get sum which is less than target, we can move the left pointer. So this is the simple approach. Let's try to implement that. So as I mentioned, this is already in ascending order. So we can first declare some values like left pointer and right pointer, as we discussed. Left pointer is pointing to the first element and right pointer pointing to the end of the element. We can have a while loop, and provided the condition that left pointer should be always less than the right, and we can have a sum variable which actually calculate the sum of the current left number and the current right number. If that is equals to the sum, we'll check for the further condition, and we check if it is equals to target or not. If we get the target at any point of time, we'll just return, and we return the index of those elements. If this is not the case, we will move our pointers given condition that we have already discussed. If sum is less than target, we'll move our left pointer to make the sum bigger. If sum is greater than target, then we move the right pointer. We can use a simple else for this because there is no other condition, and we can do this one. And if we crosses this while loop and we didn't get the result, then we just return -1. So now you come to know this how simple this problem is, but this is marked as an important problem or the medium difficulty problem in Leetcode. Let's try to run in Leetcode. Before that, let's try to run here also. So yeah, what we are getting is 1 and 2, that is what we needed. Now I am going to paste the same thing in Leetcode and I am going to run for simple test cases. So all test cases are passes. Now let's try to submit. So we are able to beat 96% of the candidates. But the idea is you have to know how these two pointers work. We'll see more problem on two pointers going forward because this is a pattern and this is repeating, and I will solve different problems using the same pattern and show you how it works. So let's see in the next one.